Welcome to summer and welcome to 2 Mile Creek Park here on Lake Lanier, where it's going to be a very busy summer, as it always is on Lake Lanier here in Forsyth County. We're excited today to be talking about a few operational changes on Lake Lanier and what that could mean for visitors here throughout the summer season. Joining us from the Army Corps of Engineers is Operations Project Manager Mr. Tim Rainey, and Tony Tarnacki is our Assistant County Manager here in Forsyth County. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Sure.
Well, it's a little bit quiet here today behind us, but that's going to change here really soon across Lake Lanier. We'll get into what some of those changes could mean for parks such as this one. But first, for those that don't know, there's a partnership among counties such as Forsyth, Hall, Gwinnett, Dawson, those that touch Lake Lanier, and the Army Corps of Engineers. What is that partnership, Mr. Rainey, when it comes to lake parks such as this one between counties and municipalities and the Corps?
Well, Lake Lanier is a big place. We have a lot of parks, 36 developed parks around the lake. Just in general, we can't do it alone. The Army Corps of Engineers stresses partnerships in all kinds of different activities. More recently, we're trying to expand those partnerships with the local jurisdictions and partnering in operations of the parks. So we really, just in a nutshell, we sit down at the table and what can you do? What can we do? We come up with an agreement and we split those responsibilities.
It's a very elementary point, but for those who may not know, again, Lake Lanier is not operated, not managed or owned by one particular county government or a city government. It is the Army Corps of Engineers lake. Is that an appropriate thing to say?
It's all Army Corps of Engineers land.
All right, so those partnerships certainly important for parks such as this one when it comes to recreation. Last summer, there were a few changes that we were able to announce to get out to the public that occurred about this time last year. What were some of those changes last year and some of those updates that kind of happened here on some of the lake parks?
Yeah, I think first off, we started working with the Corps to get the parks reopened. And a lot of that initially began with enforcement. We needed to get more enforcement out there. So the Sheriff's Department helped with that, and we partnered. And we started the conversation about where do we go next? And that led us to this point here where we're working on a partnership to where we both split the duties at these lake parks, and it really helps bring that standard up and bring these parks back into a more consistent and a better condition.
What are some of the changes that are occurring here this summer?
Yeah, we're working on a partnership with the Corps to share the responsibilities of these parks. And you'll see Forsyth County take on more of the maintenance role and work on really bringing these parks up to the standard that our residents are used to. And the Corps, they're going to maintain a partnership and responsibility as well. A lot of theirs is focused on the capital improvements and the property itself.
So a lot goes into it from a recreation standpoint. What are the 5 different parks that the county now will be managing now with this partnership?
Yeah, the one we're standing at now, 2 Mile Park, Vance Tavern, Tidwell, and then we've got Keith Bridge and Long Hollow.
Mr. Rainey, how does this partnership impact the Corps? What are some of the benefits that help out the Corps?
Well, starting off are the user fee revenues that come into the park. If the Corps of Engineers collects those user fee revenues, straight to the Treasury. Doesn't help our office's budget one bit, straight to the Treasury. Our authority allows, if the partner collects those fees, they can use those fees to offset the costs they incur in this partnership.
So it's definitely a win-win, it sounds like. And for the county too, you're maybe offsetting some of those budget costs are going to probably incur with this new partnership, right, Tony? So what are some of those changes that, from a budget standpoint, the county can anticipate now moving forward, and how are those costs offset?
Yeah, we're going to have to obviously increase staff to take care of these parks when it comes to maintenance. We'll have to contract for the upkeep, the grass cutting, the leaf blowing, things like that. But we're going to hope to offset a lot of those costs through collection of the fees from the users.
And at the end of the day, it continues to keep these parks on Lake Lanier open and thriving here, so folks can get out here, put their boats in the water, fishing activities here at some of the beaches that are there, some of these parks here. And maybe the most important thing that we just need at this point that none of us, I don't think, in this interview can control is rain. We got to have some water out here in the lake, right? I think that's one of the most important pieces with all this. So what impact does this also have on the county? Tony, you kind of mentioned it there with some of the additional resources. Does this also mean additional staffing for the county? What are some of the things we can anticipate?
Yeah, right now, because we do have a couple of parks closed and reopening with Sharon Springs, we're able to shift some staff out to the lake parks from that closed park. And so the initial increase is going to be minimal. But as we get all our parks back on track and open, we're going to eventually have to hire more staff to take care of these parks. And more equipment. You know, we've got several pieces of equipment that we can shift from other parks at this point. But I think initially we're going to see, you know, this first year is going to be a trial run to see what we do need. And hopefully the fees that we collect will help offset much of that. But it's going to be hard to tell until we get these parks open and under our control as far as maintenance is concerned.
So a lot of exciting things happening on Lake Lanier as we head into the summer season. You can find a lot more about the different parks offerings here on Lake Lanier by visiting parks.forsythco.com to get a lot more information. And to get more information about this agreement, you can always visit forsythco.com. Mr. Rainey, I want to give you the final word here. Any final thoughts here as we head into the summer season? I know it's a busy time for you guys.
Yeah, just as an overarching idea, I guess, Army Corps of Engineers, a piece of its mission is to provide recreational opportunities. I know Forsyth County, a piece of its mission is to provide recreational opportunities. So we both want to provide recreational opportunities. These partnerships will help us maintain and sustain access to Forsyth County residents as well as all visitors to Lake Lanier.
Excellent, great point there. And as always, if you're going out on Lake Lanier this summer, be safe out there on the boats. Make sure that you're maintaining a proper speed. Definitely no BUIs out there. Be safe this summer. And as always, make sure you're wearing your life jackets. More information and tips on lake safety is available at forsythco.com. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate it and have a great summer.